Okay, I have read some messed up thriller books in my time, but most recently, there are three that I can pinpoint off the top of my head that have just been like, what am I reading and how did the author come up with these ideas? Like, what the F? So the first one here is Symphony of Screams. I saw this as a TikTok recommendation and this girl like raved about it, said how good it was and it kept her, on the edge of her seat and she really enjoyed it. And so I was like, all right, cool. And it was like pretty short. I don't think it was considered a novella, but it was maybe 250 pages, something like that. And so I was like, all right, cool. It was still like kind of Halloween time. So I dug into it. I started reading it and I was like, oh, this is a little weird. I don't know if I like it. So I put it aside. And then I went back a few weeks later and I was like, all right, I'm going to power through. I'm going to do this because I'm just not a DNFer. I really, once I start a book, I want to finish it no matter what, even if it's like horrible. I don't know. That's just my style. I can't put it down. Like, I just want to finish it. Anyways, so I'm reading this book. First of all, it's about this young boy. I believe his name is Ethan, and there's like an insane asylum in his like general neighborhood. And so everyone says, don't go there, stay away. It's not something to be messing with. Like, just don't go there. Of course, being a young teenager, he's like, I'm going to go there in the woods with my friends. So they go over there, they step on the property, they get caught. The people at the insane asylum are not happy about it, the workers there. And one particular doctor, Dr. Blackwell, if I'm correct, he is like in charge and he's like, all right, that's it. Like, I'm going to take your friend. So it's like three main characters and they take one of them, this guy, Michael, and they like capture him. And so now, Ethan and the girl, I can't remember her name, but they're like, oh no, we have to go in and go back and get him. Was it Ethan, Michael? Someone gets captured. I forget. And then Ethan's mom, or the main character, his mom gets captured. And it's just like a lot of kidnapping and shit goes on. It's just crazy. Like, I can't even remember exactly like how to define the plot for you. But anyways, eventually it turns out that the main character, I believe his name is Ethan, he goes in to the insane asylum and is like, I gotta get my mom back. I gotta get my friends back. Like, you're capturing everybody. What's going on? I don't understand. And he goes in and finds out that this Dr. Blackwell guy is using the insane asylum patients as his like guinea pigs. So like, they're already in there. They're already crazy. They already got their own issues going on. And then you got this doctor guy. He's like, well, now I'm going to mess with you a little bit. Like, let's pull your eyeball out and see what happens. And let's poke and prod you and do it. Like, he does unethical things to these people. Like, horrible, horrible things. And then when he captures these kids, he's like, I'm going to mess with you guys. And then he like sits them down at a dinner table. And like, everyone's all messed up and their bodies torn apart. And I can't even go into more detail than that because I'm like, what is happening? Why am I reading this? And then there's detail about like what he does and how he does it. I almost threw up. I wanted to stop reading. I should have just stopped reading, but I was like, nope, I got to finish this book. Why? Why do I torture myself? I don't know. But I finished the book. I was horrified. I don't know why I read this book, what I did to deserve it. I just was like, why am I reading this book? Like, but more importantly, for the author, like, what? How does your brain work like this? That you're writing this? Like, are you a secret serial killer? Like, I don't know. I'm not even recommending anyone to read it unless you're into that stuff. I mean, I get it because like the Halloween movies that are all like blood and gore, like it's not for me. But I love scary movies like The Strangers and Stranger in the House and even the classic Scream movies. Like, I'm all about scary movies. I don't like the blood and the gore, and I feel like Symphony of Screams is like the blood and the gore. So like, if you're into that, you might really enjoy this. For me, I was like, why am I putting myself through this torture? So yeah, that's, I don't know. That's what I have to say about that one. The next messed up one I read is One by One by James Mars, I believe. And this one also was, it's like, I've learned that James Mars is kind of like a futuristic author. He likes to write about like things that could happen in the future and things like that. And so this book in particular is about like a dating website where you can go and you put your DNA, like you send it in the mail like you would like 23andMe, and they'll match you up with your other, like your DNA compatible person. So it's not just about like your personality or your looks or like what do you like, your hobbies. Like it has nothing to do with those things. They're really just matching you up based on DNA and like how you would match in that specific category, which I also have a lot of questions about and think that's really weird, but whatever. That's what you do. So there's all these people that are going on, people that are already in committed relationships are like, what if we're not the one? What if we're not matched up together? Like, let's put our DNA in and see. And like, hello, that's stupid because you're probably not going to be matched up with the person that you chose on your own. So of course that happens. Like people end up not being chosen, or people are getting matched with same-sex people who they're like, but I'm not gay. What are you talking about? Like, how can I be matched up with this person? Turns out like this website is not maybe necessarily doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then there's a whole like serial killer component. And there's also like a really messed up scene that almost threw me off. I almost had to stop reading the book because it was so gruesome and detailed. Again, I wanted to throw up. I was like, why am I watching? Why am I reading this? Why? But I'm glad I didn't stop reading it though, because it did come together. And that was like probably the only gruesome part. It still talked about some gruesome things, but I feel like it wasn't as bad. But it was such a messed up, like mind. Like, what? Like, again, like, how did you come up with that concept? Like, what made you be like, this is great? I honestly am jealous of these authors that, like, you can come up with these, like, crazy, fantastic ideas because my brain just wouldn't work like that. I think if I was to write my own fiction book, it would probably be, like, romance, more, like, fiction-based reality, that kind of stuff. The next messed up book I just finished, and it's called An Appetite of Innocence. Why can't I remember any of these titles? I'll put them all up here, of course. And this one was messed up in a different way. It was so good. I really enjoyed this book. It was definitely more on my like thriller realm. It wasn't as scary because it's so realistic that this like probably actually happens all the time, which is sick and disgusting. Like this is definitely a sick and twisted, disgusting person that's in this book and like what he does. And I guess you could call him a serial killer / kidnapper / pedophile. Like it's all there. But I think that's why I maybe was able to take this in more because unfortunately we live in a really messed up world and it was very like realistic. And so like I understand that it happens. So although it was still nauseating in a different way, it was still like a good book, more in my realm of like what I read. I feel awful for even saying this because like when you read the concept of the book, like it's so disgusting. Like these poor women that had to go through this shit, like young girls, I should say. They're all messed up. All these books are messed up, but I read them all, and I'm going to tell them now you know about them. So let me know if you've read any of them down below, what your thoughts are. Maybe I'm totally off, and people are like, no, we love these books. They're great. I don't know. Let me know your opinion down in the comments. I'd love to hear about it, and I'm going to keep reading. That's what I'm going to keep doing. So I'll see you next time.